Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Good Day Straight Talk. I'm Antoine Lewis. We're coming to you from the 9/11 Memorial and Museum on this 20th anniversary of a day that will forever live in our hearts. In the years past, we've all shared our stories of loss, recovery, and hope, and the museum is home to many of those memories. It is also where we spoke with retired NYPD officer Daniel Rodriguez, who used his voice to unite the nation right after September 11th.
It was a clear morning. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was crossing the Verrazano Bridge, coming over from Staten Island, and I got to the center span. As I looked over to my left, I can see the tower. First tower was already burning. The highway had closed off the HOV lane so the emergency vehicles can get into the city and respond. I was probably one of the last civilian cars to get into the city. I put my signal light to make a right and to come here to where Ground Zero would soon be. When you're a police officer, the first thing they tell you to do is put over your location. And so with my indicator to the right, I made a left. And I went down to one police plaza where I saw one of the chiefs, and I said, I'm going down. He directed me to City Hall. I believe that moment is the reason I'm here telling the story and not part of this memorial. The second plane had already hit the building, and we started making our way. We got about a block away when the first tower came down around us. What people have seen on video and people see on the television can't really describe what we saw here. And images that are burned in your soul for the rest of your life. I was always a man of faith. I've always been a man of faith, but there are moments in life where, your faith can be shaken. You can question, why me, Lord? Why am I still here? And in the days after 9/11, I just went through the motions of being present for the victims, being present for my fellow officers, just being the good soldier and not necessarily knowing what my role was other than this. I knew there was something more than just being a police officer, than just being present. I knew there was something more, I just didn't know what. It was a few days later when I got a phone call from Mayor Giuliani, who said, we're doing a service at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be called Prayer for America, and I want you to come and sing.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming.
That, I think, was the beginning of my healing, when I was able to share the gift that God gave me. Here I was being saved by music out of this tragedy, filled with faith, trying to be a positive force in the world. That's who I am today. And it began in those days after 9/11. If I'm the voice of healing, and if I have become that, then I'm very grateful that God has made me that the higher power, the universe, has helped me to become that. But this place, the world needs to come here and begin healing, because it's not something that's ever going to stop. It's not something that's ever going to end, but it's something that we can come back and be reminded what the best and worst of man is capable of. And we can come here, and if we see that, then maybe we can choose to say, I'm going to be a part of the best that man can do, and another positive force, another healing force in the world. And so we become, me and this building become a ripple to try and leave this world just a little better than we found it. It's all we can hope for.
As we commemorate the 20th anniversary of September 11th, we also want to salute the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation for their 2 decades of service and honor the man for which it is named. Here's Audrey Pointe.
They train for the honor. They train for life. Here at the FDNY Academy on Randall's Island, they train to one day be a member of New York's bravest, something that a very young Stephen Siller, the youngest of 7 children in fact, would aspire to one day become.
Basically, he was sort of like our little mascot, I guess you would say. You know, we all had different roles with him because many of us were out of college or married.
He became the very core of our family, you know, and everyone treated him in a very special way.
But it was also at a young age when Stephen would experience great loss with the death of both of his parents by the time he was 10.
He was fortunate that he had much older siblings, you know, to raise him, but he was really orphaned in the real sense of the word. And, you know, he went through his troubled times, and then he just rose to this special person where he could just ignite celebration, and then he wanted to serve and became a firefighter to serve everybody.
It was the morning of September 11th when Stephen was headed to New Jersey to see his brothers.
But when he heard on the scanner what had happened, he called his wife Sally up, said, "Hey Sally, are you watching, you know, the television? You know, the World Trade Center was hit by a plane." He said, "I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go to the firehouse, get my gear, tell my brothers if I can, I'm going to catch up with them later." He drove to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel where it was closed, so he strapped his gear on his back and you know, ran through the tunnel.
I tried to connect up with my family to see if anybody knew where he was, but it was very difficult to get through.
We got a phone call by another firefighter, Richie Obermeyer, and he said to me, "Hey Frank, I'm down here, and you know, Stephen's on the list of missing." And I said, "Yes, we know that. Thanks, Richie." And he goes, "No, you don't understand." He goes, "If you're down here, you realize there's nobody surviving this." And I said, "Thank you, Richie." And I got off the phone, and I remember relaying that message to my siblings. I remember my
I remember being escorted in a police car and coming over, and when I got on the other side, my brothers and sisters were waiting for me, and you know, I guess we know.
In the days and weeks after 9/11, a Siller family gathering around a dining room table would eventually give birth to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation and a symbolic run through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel to honor the spirit of their youngest brother and all of the first responders who lost their lives that day.
I remember personally running with my son, running through the tunnel, and the tears were flowing because I was just thinking of what he was thinking about running through that tunnel. But we were so proud that we did that for our little brother. It was quite a moment. To do those things in honor of these, you know, here we are at the Fire Academy, the training center, and they have a wall over here with the 343 firefighters. You know, to do and honor all these guys, I just think that they're proud. They're all pushing us to make sure that we go out there and work hard for our men and women in uniform now that carry that torch since 9/11.
And be sure to tune in to Fox 5 on Friday, October 1st at 7 p.m. for a special 1-hour look at the 2021 Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk right here in New York City. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation also helps many severely injured veterans find their home sweet home. Teresa Priolo shares the story of one local hero who was able to open the door to a brand new beginning.
With a wave of a hand, a smile on his face, and his 2 adorable nieces looking on, Army Corporal Chris Levy welcomes us into his Melville, Long Island home.
Bursting with gratitude would be an understatement.
Gratitude for what he now has and for the moments that led him here. Corporal Levy lost both his legs when a roadside bomb exploded a decade ago during his deployment to Iraq. After spending a year at Walter Reed Medical Center, he arrived home with a grateful heart to a hero's welcome. But that home, despite the generous improvements from his Holbrook neighbors, didn't feel like home anymore. It was a space for someone without severe limitations. From the bathroom to the stairs, life was complicated. And then the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation stepped in, promising Chris a home life without concern for how difficult life can be.
The fact that my mother and my family get to come around, and my mother's not super stressed that I'm going to crash off the countertop into the ground at any random time. Yay! And then now we can grab a glass from here.
The 3-bed, 2.5-bath ranch was custom tailored for Chris.
It opens from the back, so you can get it, and it opens from the front, so you can get it. And then you could also
That is so cool!
Yeah, you can turn the light on, you can turn it off.
Every inch designed with him in mind.
So when you put it down, I can go in here, and then I can reach over the stove, and I don't have to get burnt by things on the stove in the front.
It's a home to host a family, a home to grow a family, one shared with his girlfriend Jen, his mother, and his 2 nieces, Ava and Hannah. A home with enough bells and whistles to impress any kid or kid at heart. Amenities that level the playing field, allowing an ease or convenience to life that so many of us take for granted. It's a problem Chris never thought he'd have, and now he finds himself fighting every day to remember the blessing that is this house.
It's really hard to remember to be grateful for all of the things that are no longer complications, because when so many get taken out all at once, it's really easy to remember that, yeah, I mean, there's all these really big things like not falling off a kitchen counter or pouring a half gallon of boiling soup out of a microwave on myself, or, you know, having to reach across sizzling bacon from a wheelchair to get anything behind it. Those are all really big things that are no longer drastic, catastrophic complications.
What seems improbable until you meet Chris is his indomitable spirit, his triumph in the face of adversity, hope for the future despite the tragedy in his past, and his continued sense of honor and duty, undeterred by all he's already given personally.
Like my brother Stephen, in the face of evil, Chris put his life on the line to protect and save others.
You don't have to be Army or first responder or firefighter or police officer to be a service member. All you have to do is want to give your life. Instead of having it taken from you, you give it naturally. And you could be in any job, in any career, and serve. And that's really what I think it means to be an American. And I'm gonna cry in front of a crowd.
These walls are proof home isn't where Chris's story begins, it's where it begins again.
Up next, the Broadway musical that tells the story of a small community in Canada and their very big hearts in the days right after 9/11 when we come back. Decades ago, Port Authority police officer Bruce Reynolds started a garden in Upper Manhattan. Officer Reynolds lost his life on September 11th, yet his garden continues to help people find peace and solace, as Arlinda Schmidt reports.
This is a story related to 9/11 that we haven't told you about before. This is a very special park here in Inwood, and it pays tribute to one of the sons of this neighborhood. The feeling that you leave with after spending time here?
Oh, that's not my question. That's your question. How do you feel when you leave here?
I feel very tranquil.
Well, see, there you go. That's the whole point.
It is a peaceful oasis, a half-acre garden named after Port Authority police officer Bruce Reynolds. He grew up in this neighborhood in Inwood, and he and his father created the garden when Reynolds was about 5 years old to improve the community. That was about 50 years ago.
It was a dump. It was the neighborhood dump. Industrial strength dumping, serious dumping. And it was an eyesore, and they cleared off the property and just decided to do something with it.
And now it is beauty that surrounds those who visit. Officer Reynolds died on 9/11, and the garden was named after him.
It's something that everyone needs, especially now. Especially now.
Aaron Scott is the executive director of Bruce's Garden. He and other volunteers maintain the serene garden in memory of Reynolds.
It's an honor to be able to maintain something like this.
Bruce's Garden is a glowing example of what neighbors can do to honor those they respect and love and keep their memory alive.
Now to a story about 9/11 that took place more than 1,000 miles away from New York City, but its inspiration hit very close to home. Our Arthur Chien tells the story of how the Broadway musical Come From Away captures the essence of hope and humanity.
I read a quote one time that said, "Go not where there is a path. Instead, go and make a trail. For what you do for yourself dies with you, but what you do for others lives on."
The quote is poetic, but for the mayor and people of Gander, Newfoundland, it's more than a quote, it's a mantra, a reflection of what makes their small community in a Canadian province something for all of us to admire. On September 11th, 2001, when airspace across the U.S. was shut down following the attacks, Gander's small airport would take in international flight after international flight. 38 planes carrying 7,000 passengers and dozens of animals would be forced to land there, essentially doubling the population of the town.
We went to the greatest resource that we have as our people, and they came out and they offered their homes. We filled up every church, every school, everything we could think of. What we saw was 7,000 frightened people, and they needed love, and they needed compassion, and they needed a shoulder to cry on.
We're very grateful, in fact, how we've been treated and received by Canada.
It's really been very, very, very impressive, and I know everyone feels the same way.
In the aftermath of 9/11, the story of Gander resonated back here at home, especially for writers Irene Sankoff and David Hind, who were in New York when the towers were hit. On the 10th anniversary of the attacks, both would travel to Newfoundland to interview countless Gander residents and the involuntary guests they host to uncover a story of humanity and kindness.
What we were interested in wasn't telling a 9/11 story. We wanted to tell a story about how this little community responded.
It's rare that you hear about things that are shockingly positive or shockingly good.
But where and how could they tell this shockingly positive story for its message to have a profound impact? Right here in New York as a musical, and in all places on the Great White Way. Come From Away opened on Broadway, and the critical response has been overwhelming, including a resounding approval from our first responders on opening night.
We got so much love from them back, and thank yous, and that just like floored me.
The great thing that the show does is it really moves to kind of assuage a lot of those fears about talking about that day by talking about something else that happened that day that is actually a good memory for people.
And as New York expressed its gratitude to the people of Gander with the donation of a piece of steel from the World Trade Center, the creators and cast of Come From Away are equally grateful for the gentle souls of that small Canadian town with a big heart.
With this project, I just keep on thinking back to the people of Gander, really, and how exciting it must be for them. They're humble people.
We're parents. They've inspired us to teach our daughter that there's goodness in the world and there's goodness in response to these tragedies, and it's worth focusing on them.
Long after I'm gone, this story will be told throughout the world in years to come. And it's nice to know that we played that part, that our love and kindness and generosity has been shown throughout the world. That's the way we are. And that's the way that I hope that the generations to come will continue to do that.
For those who were children and lost a loved one 20 years ago on September 11th, that pain never quite goes away. But time does help heal some of the wounds, making these now young adults even stronger as they continue to face their tomorrows.
If Caitlin Levy looks at home inside a firehouse, she should. She practically grew up in this one, the home of the Wall Street Bulls.
My grandma told me that growing up, my dad would look out the window and see the fire trucks going by, and he always wanted to be a firefighter.
Caitlin is the daughter of FDNY Lieutenant Joseph Levy of Ladder Company 15, a man as dedicated to public service as he was to being a husband and a father.
On the weekends, we would take family field trips down to the city, and we would go rollerblading as a family, bike riding, and he loved taking us here, and he called this his second home.
On September 11th, Joe Levy was supposed to pick up 10-year-old Caitlin from school right after his shift was over, as he normally would.
And I knew that, I knew the days that he would come to get me from school, and he wasn't there. And I remember, having some kind of feeling that something was up. Shortly after, my mom sat me down and had this whole conversation, but it all just seemed like a dream, it just wasn't real for me.
Ladder Company 15 lost Joe Levy and 7 other heroes that day. Engine Company 4 lost 6. To the men who now call this firehouse home, this plaque of names is not a reminder. It's an inspiration.
It's still very evident that we still have that hole to fill, and it's important to us, and it's important to the families that lost someone in 9/11 that we're still there for them.
In the years since 9/11, Caitlin has tried to find a way to honor her father's memory, recently joining the Tunnel to Towers Young Professionals group, millennial ambassadors who now steward the foundation's mission towards their generation.
There was a need to reach a different audience that was a little bit younger, and maybe, I was in high school on September 11th, so it left a big impact. But I meet with some people, and some of the younger people in our group, who maybe don't even have as much of a memory of that day. And for me, it's so ingrained because it was such an impactful day.
Looking at how they're supporting families with building homes for them, paying off their mortgages, and it's a huge part of my healing process.
Now 27 and a school teacher, Caitlin admits that healing process will continue for quite some time. We understand. New York lost one of its bravest that day. Caitlin lost her dad.
There are days that are so difficult, and I miss him tremendously. But then I think about, what does he want me doing right now? If he was here, he would be involved with the Tunnel to Towers Foundations in a heartbeat. That is the work that my dad cared deeply about, just showing up and being that positive light.
We thank you so very much for joining us for this very special edition of Good Day Street Talk as we commemorate the 20th anniversary of September 11th. And for all of us at Fox 5, I'm Antoine Lewis. Thank you for the company.